Hey, what's up, y'all? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbott, and to my left is Rashad Pennell, and to my right is Khalid Lewis. We're here giving y'all the best sports talk of the day. Good morning to everybody that's tuning in, and I hope y'all having a great day. We have a whole slate of topics today, going from Big Ben to all the QB injuries in the league to the Cam Newton and Ed Hockley issues. Um, we're gonna have a good amount of things to talk about today. But starting out, we're gonna start off talking about the Big Ben injury and how that affects the Steelers. They were on an offensive roll. They were like an offensive juggernaut and, throughout the first 3 weeks of the season, and then now this Big Ben injury is looking like it might derail them. So you know, it, one can only wonder how much of an impact this is going to have on the team. Rashad, we'll start with you. How do you think this is going to impact the Steelers and the team going forward with Big Ben being out?
You hurt. Weren't you cheering for the Falcons last week? Falcons. Every week. Falcons. You only have one team, man. You gotta be loyal to one team.
I am loyal to one team.
But
Steelers.
okay, but
So, okay.
having Big Ben out, having Big Ben out is like losing Tom Brady for that team because Big Ben is like he runs that offense to perfection in there. That's why he's always been there constantly. He's been making plays all season long. He made plays last season, going in for the last half of the season. That's a really good team. But without Roethlisberger, you got Michael Vick back there now, an old Michael Vick, about 52. Um, it ain't looking too promising. Like, what can I really say about Mike Vick? He's he's well out of his prime. I think Antonio Brown's projection gonna go down. Le'Veon Bell might actually go up because he need to run the ball. It's gonna have like the Cowboys kind of effect. You have to run the ball a lot more because you really trust Michael Vick to throw you the ball. That's what having Ben Roethlisberger had. You have a shoe in to throw the ball. But with Michael Vick, I'm not really sure. I'm sure when Mike Tomlin brought him in, he was more so thinking like Big Ben's not gonna get hurt. It's just he's here to sign him just because if you want a wildcat or something, not for an every down quarterback who has to throw the ball now, who lately, as we've been seeing, can't throw extremely great.
Mhm.
But I mean, he's still an NFL quarterback. He still can throw the ball, but I don't know. I feel like losing Big Ben is huge for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Colin, what do you think? That's your team,
Bruh,
So
Big Ben is the centerpiece of the offense. This man brings the whole offense together. Like without, like you said, it's like losing Tom Brady on the Patriots. Big Ben is basically our Tom Brady. Along with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, he gives us that offensive power that puts us, it gives us that one of the as being one of the what you call it, one of the elite playoff teams or playoff what's the word I'm looking for, playoff capable team.
Mhm.
Losing him completely will is just gonna have a great shift in our offense. Michael Vick, he old. That man last season was not the greatest season of his career. He was last in QB rating with with a 21.4, and he's just he's not the person that we expected to be playing throughout the season to like get us to the playoffs. And as a Steelers fan, I'm afraid that we won't win the majority of the games that we have coming up with Big Ben out. Just because that Michael Vick isn't experienced with our offense. He's only been here 5 weeks. Just he's just new. His newness to the what you call it to the Steelers offense is gonna make it look kind of shaky. I know all he has to do is play his role and like get the great passes, well not great passes, but the passes he needs to get to like Antonio Brown and then Le'Veon Bell. He picks up the what you call it, the rushing presence just to pick up like that slack on the offense
Mhm.
with the loss of Big Ben. Uh, Michael Vick, he just don't need to take the whole. He's the responsibility of the offense on
Well,
his shoulders.
I think no team. I mean, if you lose a starting quarterback, Like, I mean, no team is better without their starting quarterback. I mean, unless you want to talk about the Redskins. I don't know. I don't even know what RG3 is to them anymore. But it's the Steelers. It's gonna hurt them so bad. Like it, it it kills me because they were on such a great roll, and now like you just got Le'Veon Bell back. Like you just had got him back, and then just to have him go down, it's like I don't know. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I probably say the trouble that they're in, and depending on how long he's out for, also because they were being optimistic when
They
they
say
said,
about 4 to 6 weeks.
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
They think he's
They're
coming
being
back in 4 to
optimistic.
6 weeks. They forget that Big Ben's been hurt in the past. He's been out for a minute.
Yeah, so I mean, they're being, but he's also no, but he also recovers well because remember he got
But he
that
recovers
motorcycle
well.
accident and he came back real quick after that motorcycle accident. Everybody thought he was supposed to be out for that long period of time, and he was like he got banged up in that motorcycle accident. Came back like about 2 weeks later. So I mean, Big Ben's shown that he can like heal faster. But the only problem is, with that motorcycle accident, it was an upper body injury. You said what?
Just called him Wolverine, basically.
He got the X factor. He got the mutant gene. But like with the lower body injuries, it's like you don't want to take your chance with them because say like he's in the pocket again and he's not fully healthy. He takes that one little hit to the legs like Mark Barron gave him last week, which wasn't a dirty hit because I mean he was already falling down. And, a lot of people are like, oh well, a lot of Steeler fans more so are like,
And then
why wasn't that flag and all this?
Tripped over and he was already like stumbling a little bit.
Yeah.
And ran into Big Ben.
It also looked like an ankle injury to me. That's what I thought it was at
That was
first.
left knee.
And I was left knee, but like when it happened,
It
I was like,
an
looked like an ankle. Cause it looked like dude fell on his ankle and like your knee just kind of like buckled.
Yeah.
You know, like if you get cut like at your legs,
Mhm.
like the wrong way, like your knee buckles. But it looked more like an ankle injury when I saw it.
Yeah, and it's like it's just like I'm I'm wondering, especially for how long he's out, like how the Steelers are because now think about it. You as a starting quarterback and a starting or a star wide receiver, you build camaraderie with each other. Like you build up a chemistry. Antonio Brown and Michael Vick don't have that. Like they only work with each other so much since Michael Vick isn't the starter. So now you got to get your timing on point. You got to pretty much learn to know where each other's gonna be. And Michael Vick isn't as accurate as Ben Roethlisberger is. You know what I mean? Like he does have his threat with the legs, and he does have an arm to throw it deep, but he just doesn't have the on point accuracy like Big Ben has. And over the next few games, the Steelers are slated to play division rivals, the Ravens, this upcoming Thursday. So that means they got a short week. So they don't. Michael Vick's not going to get as many reps at starting quarterback, as the team would like to, as Mike Tomlin would like to. He's probably going to innovate some things into accommodate Michael Vick, but it's like dang, like you play the Ravens this week, and you're just like. And those games, the Steelers Ravens games are always, they're always hitting. Like you got to make sure you have a backup quarterback for Michael Vick, who's also been injury prone in the past. Like on Stephen A. always says on First Take, he always says he saw Michael Vick one time get hit in his ribs and grab his head. Like that's how like how punch drunk he is. Like he's been hit so many times that like he just feels it everywhere now. Like you can hit this man in his what's it called? You can sack him wrapping him around his thighs. He'll grab his arm. Like it's that kind of thing. Like Michael Vick's been hit so much that you can't depend on him to be there all the time. So you got to make sure you have a backup for him too. And especially with the short week, it's like their offensive plays are going to be limited. Like so, what do you think, Rashad? Like as far as Michael Vick, like how do you see them maybe adjusting the offense for Michael Vick coming in so that maybe the offense can run smoother? Like do you see them running a lot more short like slant routes, a lot like more basic plays, or do you see them making more read option kind of things since Michael Vick can run with the ball and everything?
It's kind of like how when you remember when RG3 got hurt and Kirk Cousins came in, how they still like basically ran the same option even though he wasn't like a read option quarterback or anything like that, and they still made him run sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be like that kind of. That he's not gonna get. He's gonna be like Kirk Cousins kind of. He's gonna be like he's not gonna run as much as he normally as RG3 would have ran. So Michael Vick isn't gonna run like the old Michael Vick, and more of a lot of his plays are gonna be probably it's not gonna be to get yardage.
Like Big Ben.
Yeah, they're gonna try to play him like Big Ben, just instead of not that many 20+ yard plays.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more of a short pass approach with read option going towards the sidelines where he's not taking hits. That's the one thing to make sure. And more so, even honestly, a lot of the plays that actually bang him up the most is sacks and stuff. So they gotta make sure they can avoid him getting hit from his blind side, because blind side sacks is what hurts the most on the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what beats your body the most. You know what I'm saying? So like, it can't be like that here in Pittsburgh. Like they gotta make sure they protect this man, especially the blind side, backside, because
what we're gonna focus on is just make him feel comfortable, try and get him in a space where he knows that he can like throw the ball confidently, so that he won't get hurt and won't have a fear of like getting hurt.
so basically like kind of like quick routes and stuff. Are you trying to say like
something like that?
so all like 5 short or like above 5 or anything above
I
5?
would say a couple like a lot of short and then like a couple long just to see how it all works out, and especially if Antonio Brown is down.
Because I'm saying you still have him, but see now, since you have Mike Vick back there, like are they gonna like like fill up the box for Le'Veon Bell and make Michael Vick throw, or like
I feel like it's gonna be kind of like they're gonna put more weight on like Le'Veon Bell.
okay?
I think they're gonna
So you don't think other teams gonna fill the box and make Michael Vick throw the ball? So you think they're gonna?
Yeah, they will, but they know that the what you call it, that Vic ain't the best QB, so they are definitely gonna put so much pressure on him, and then also they know that Le'Veon Bell is gonna have to pick up the slack because Big Ben isn't there, so they're also they're gonna put a lot of attention on Le'Veon Bell as well.
I feel you. Okay. What do you think, Brendan? Like,
I mean, I see. I don't know if I agree with how you said they're gonna use him, like how they use Big Ben, because Big Ben does stay in the pocket more. And if you're saying like how they're gonna try and avoid Michael Vick getting hit, wouldn't it do better for them to have him moving?
but see, if you make him move, that's when he starts to get in mindset he wants to run. That's when he gets hit, because that's when he becomes a runner instead of a quarterback.
But not always. He's that's what he's worked on in the latter years of his career, of trying to become more pass oriented. So he thinks pass first and doesn't run until.
That's why you got to keep him in the pocket.
But if you keep him in the pocket, he's not accolades to all the plays. So you only have so many plays to run, and the defenses catch on. You're playing the Ravens, so I mean defenses catches on.
But I mean,
And if you make him a
still
pocket,
know some of the offense he's been.
I mean, he should know some of the offense. But think about it.
But he hasn't been that. I mean, isn't as what you call it. He isn't as experienced with the offense as Big Ben or the offense.
Yeah, we do know that. But at the same time, he's still an NFL quarterback, and he understands his job description, basically what to do, how he needs to basically run the offense at any time. He needs to make sure he knows the playbook at any time. That's what they tell you, like when you first go in. Make sure you know, every quarterback needs to know the playbook. He may not know it as in depth as Ben Roethlisberger because they run different like plays or different schemes for different quarterback, but he still knows some of the stuff he needs to know.
But isn't that the same case with how they had the thing going for Johnny Manziel? Like Johnny Manziel was working. He was the backup working with them, but then they take him out saying you still don't fully know the offense, and the offense is catered to Josh McCown, whereas versus you, where you're a moving more so mobile quarterback than Josh McCown, who's more of a pocket quarterback. Big Ben's more of a pocket quarterback, in which Michael Vick's career went down when he became more of a pocket quarterback. That's when his career started to dip. When in Philadelphia, they try to make him more of a pocket quarterback instead of just letting him play free flow and mix it up. Like when he mixed it up, Michael Vick was the most dangerous weapon on the field. But when they started making more of a pocket quarterback, that's when he started becoming hit because he didn't have the offensive line to protect him, and because in the pocket he takes too long sometimes. He holds the ball on for too long sometimes. And I know
because
especially
he wants to run it so bad.
Yeah, and not because he wants to run it so bad, just because sometimes you don't like when you're on the move, you're more, how do I say this? You're more hasty with your decision. You're quicker to make a decision because you're on the move. You're like, I gotta get this out quick. But in the pocket, he gets comfortable. He's like, okay, I have time. And I mean, granted, you do have a great receiver like Antonio Brown.
He has
to help.
one great receiver. You got to think about all the good receivers he had at Philadelphia.
Exactly, and that's my point.
For the offense to make him run. That's why he got to stay in the pocket with this team.
No, but he had all those great receivers in Philadelphia.
That's why he could run, because they can make plays like.
No, but remember, they try to keep him in the pocket with all those great receivers, and that's when the offense went down. He still had all those great receivers. He still had Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin. He had Brent Selleck. He had Riley Cooper. He had all those guys.
Wasn't he there with Andy Reid?
Yeah, he was there with Andy Reid.
But he wasn't in the pocket really then.
He was.
It,
He was
it was
in the
more
pocket.
so.
He
was
wasn't
more so in the pocket with Chip Kelly.
Throughout his whole time there, he was in the pocket with Andy Reid. Throughout his whole time there, Andy Reid didn't leave until like
three years ago.
Yeah. And Michael Vick was there with the whole time with Andy Reid, and then Michael Vick had that great season in like 2010 or so. So like that was a long time ago, and then like that he was in Philadelphia for a good 2 or 3 years after that, and then became Nick Foles' backup.
Yeah.
So I mean, he lost the job even with Andy Reid there because of his inaccuracy in the pocket, he was turnover prone and his injury prone because he always fumbled the ball in the pocket because he's always getting hit, and then he always threw interceptions because he just. I mean, you have somebody like Deshaun Jackson that takes the lid off the defense. You have somebody like Jerry Maclin that's always in the right spot of the defense, who knows how to get open. And you have a big tight end like Brent Selleck that's a great receiving tight end. So it's like you had more weapons there, I feel like, there. And you had a great running back. So it's like you had all that, and you still were like struggling to like get your offense going from the pocket. So I'm like, I don't know if pretty much having him working from the pocket is the right idea. But we'll move on, branching off from this topic, going on, expanding it. We're gonna, recently, including Big Ben, there's been a lot of injuries in the as far as at the quarterback position this season. Like there's been Big Ben, there's Drew Brees, Tony Romo, Josh McCown, Jay Cutler, and even some people like Peyton Manning and Matthew Stafford got dinged up. Peyton Manning was on the injury reserve list for a little bit, but then he got taken off. It's kind of alarming to see all these injuries coming off right from the beginning of the season. So, Khalid, I'm gonna start off with you. Which team out of the Bears, Saints, Steelers, and the Cowboys do you think is in the most trouble? Because their team has suffered such pivotal injuries to their quarterback.
I'm gonna go with the Bears, just because last week, who are they playing? The Seahawks. My man Jimmy Clausen didn't get a touchdown. And everyone in their positions ended in a punt. And I feel like if they don't have that that offensive skill. I mean, Jay Cutler isn't the best quarterback. Let's be honest. But Jimmy Clausen, he as a backup to Jay Cutler, he's just not that good.
Mm-hmm.
He can't get at least a touchdown. Even I don't know. I just can't see them doing very well throughout the season.
See, the Bears was doomed with Jay Cutler there. So, I mean, so are we talking about when you say by the injury? Are you talking about long term or like the next coming week? Because long term, a lot of these quarterbacks kind of gonna come back.
But which team do you see for an amount of weeks they could be out? The closest one
is Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Drew Brees can be back next week or the week after.
So, which team do you feel like is more liable to be in a hole or be in more trouble because the quarterback is out?
I think the Steelers. Mm-hmm. It has to be the Steelers or the Cowboys, because see, the reason for the Cowboys is not even because Tony Romo is out. It's because we can't stay on the field long enough for our defense to hold a team. Defense has to stay on the field too much for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now the Steelers, on the other hand, it's not their defense, it's their offense. See, Cowboys is different. Cowboys, it's not their offense or their defense. See, because as you see when they play at the Rams, even y'all have a great defense, but only 12 points from a high-powered team like the Steelers. I mean, they have. If they couldn't, like, well, that's what Ben Roethlisberger playing most of the game. So I'm like, if you can only get 12 points with Roethlisberger on the field, how are you going to get 12 plus 21, 28 with Michael Vick back there?
Yeah.
For 6 to 8 weeks, 10 weeks, however long they want to keep him out, 4 weeks. I don't know. You never know Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
So I think, especially when their division can kind of go it can go either way. It's like you don't really know who's gonna like, what am I trying to say? Who's gonna like take it? 'Cause like I'm sure nobody's gonna like run away with it, especially with this injury happening.
And then we play Cardinals in like a couple weeks.
And that's a stellar defense. So like I don't know. I can't really say how the division's gonna go, but I feel like the Steelers it's going to affect them the most with Ben Roethlisberger being out because Michael Vick can't get them the points they need, and their defense is not the same defense they usually had for the past few years.
All right. So okay, so you say Bears because you feel like Jimmy Clausen isn't is straight poo putt, and you say the Steelers is because their offense isn't explosive enough.
It's between the Steelers and the Cowboys, but I'm more so say the Steelers. It'll affect the Steelers more than with the Cowboys. Because see, Cowboys also lost Des Bryant too, though. So
I would say because I feel like the Steelers are in like the advantage the Steelers have. Well, I feel like you're right with the Steelers because they're in their division. They're 2-1, but the Bengals haven't lost yet. That's the issue. The Cowboys at least have a lead on the Bengals. I mean, the Cowboys at least have a lead on the Eagles and whatnot. But for some reason, I don't. For the Cowboys, the Cowboys just seem to be so hurt. Like I just don't understand how you get up so like.
but see, that's
like
we got what we expected from this Cowboys team.
Mhm.
Like we expected something like 28 points. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
For us to like get shut out in the second half though, but like
But it's like you couldn't score
if
one
we couldn't
point.
score-
Like,
but I mean,
like one touchdown. If you guys score
It's-
one more time,
if we score one more time,
like,
we win. But
Brandon Lee, he didn't throw it deep that much. He had what 1 or 2 plays where he threw it deep.
I mean, yeah. So
It
that
was all short
Tony Romo don't really throw deep anymore.
Yeah.
It's just how the offense runs now.
Mhm.
If they want those short passes because they see how effective it is with Tom Brady and stuff like that. Or
Yeah, a lot of
Aaron
teams are going to the
Rodgers or
short
Peyton Manning,
dump off.
how effective it is.
Mhm.
Now there was some times I felt like Brandon Whedon should have like taken the deep ball, but I understand why he, you know what I'm saying. One, he was working on a record. He was working on a franchise record. So I'm sure that was in his head. He didn't want to throw it in completion. But he threw a pick to end it. But yeah, I know, but that was like his one, I would say, really stupid forced ball.
Mhm.
You know, there's some other forced plays he had, but that was the, you know.
But see, that's the thing for me. It's like, which quarterback do you trust more, Michael Vick
See,
or Brandon Whedon?
I trust Brandon Whedon because he still have pieces to help him out more than Michael Vick does.
You think so?
I think so. The way Joseph Randle ran, and
But I mean, that's
it's like
Le'Veon Bell.
it is Le'Veon Bell who's just for
That's just
see
amazing.
for this, but he was amazing last week. I mean, not last year. He's still coming off suspension. He hasn't played yet. He hasn't had that game time speed. Think about how Adrian Peterson had to like adjust. Took him 3 games to adjust.
But
Wait for
it's still
like,
Le'Veon Bell.
it is Le'Veon Bell.
Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's Le'Veon
But
Bell.
but see that's the thing with Michael Vick back there, and they know Le'Veon Bell's back there. Is more so forced on him to throw the ball more than it'd be for Brandon Whedon to throw the ball because nobody's gonna like expect Joseph Randle to run like that every week.
Okay.
So you're gonna have more people watching over Jason Witten, over Terrence Williams.
I know the Cowboys play what the Saints next week.
It will be the Saints next week. But it's not even the matchup. It's just any team is not gonna. They'll crowd the box more and make Michael Vick throw it more than it would make Brandon Whedon throw the ball with Joseph Randle back there or Darren McFadden or anything like that. Like they don't take Joseph Randle serious enough to think he needs that extra 2 people in the box for him, which is what happened with the Atlanta Falcons, which is why they was like, all right, we're gonna stop Jason Witten, we're gonna stop Terrence Williams, Joseph Randle. He's not gonna have that kind of game, but he did in the first half.
Mhm.
And you saw when they made the game plan, they switched over to make Brandon Whedon throw the ball more and not as many carries for running backs. We don't move the ball, we don't score. Because think about 3 of the touchdowns were run touchdowns.
Yeah.
So when you stop the run, you make him force the ball more. But I feel like if we can build that run game like we did early,
Mhm.
and Brandon Whedon gets more time to play, I think he'd be more right than Michael Vick would be.
But think about it. If like you said, everybody knows Le'Veon Bell's gonna get the ball, right? Doesn't that open up play action for Michael Vick?
No, because you're still gonna have the coverage on the receiver he's going to.
No.
Yes, it's gonna open up.
You got Antonio
You're not-
Brown one-on-one
No,
with somebody.
you're not really gonna have a one-on-one. They're not gonna like go like nine deep in the box
I mean,
at one time.
he won't have him deep by himself, but because there'll be a safety
Safety
time.
over help
But
for him,
like,
shadowing.
But like we said, they're gonna be going with short routes.
But
So if you get play action,
but can you expect Michael Vick to always make that throw?
I mean, you can't always expect Brandon Wheaton
You
to make
can't.
that
That's
throw.
why he always throws the up
But
offs.
I'm saying, yeah, exactly. And Michael Vick can do the same thing.
But you can't hit your big target like that who goes at least 15 yards.
No, but I'm saying, but
plays.
Antonio Brown isn't their only receiver.
He isn't, but he's their biggest threat.
He's the biggest threat, but exactly, and he
Right now,
he
our biggest
attracts
threat
so much
receiver is
defense.
Jason Witten.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you think the Cowboys are in more trouble?
Jason Witten's only 5 yards.
Wait,
He only runs 5 to 10 yards for his routes.
exactly.
It's easier to hit him than it is for
Antonio
Michael
Brown,
Vick to hit Antonio
Brown's
Brown.
not gonna go deep every time. He's not gonna go
Most
deep
of
every
his,
time.
other than against you guys, he just ran like 4 or 5 yard routes against
No,
you guys.
he would go like
He would go deep too.
He would go deep. Against us, he would mix it up entirely. Like because he would yard digs. He would run like 10-yard curl routes. He would run fades, everything. Like he just did everything they needed him to do. They did screens with him. Like
But Roethlisberger played most of that game too.
he did play most of the game.
What about when Michael Vick came in? They couldn't really move the ball, even with Antonio Brown.
They couldn't really move the ball.
Field, going to different spots, going to different yards.
But remember, I said, but now you're getting more practice time to try and build an offense that Michael Vick knows and that they can get their timing right, because I mean it takes a whole offseason for a quarterback and the offensive line to mesh together.
So you think? So I'm saying that's what Brandon Whedon, especially since Brandon Whedon got to do a lot of already snaps with the starters because Tony Romo sits out in practices. He sits out Wednesday practices, which is a live practice.
Do a lot of snaps, but I'm saying Michael Vick seems to have more help for him than Brandon Whedon has to his disposal. Michael Vick has arguably a better defense than Brandon Whedon has at his disposal. He has a better running back at his disposal. Maybe not a better offensive line, but he has better receiving weapons.
That helps a lot though, because you can't hope that Michael Vick gets up every play. Like he's not going to get up every play he gets hit.
You can't say the same thing for Brandon Whedon either.
I mean, you can't say the same about any quarterback.
You can't say about any quarterback. So I mean, that goes
from
either
his
way.
history, we know when Michael Vick gets hit, the chances of him getting up aren't always that great.
They're not, but we can't just assume, he's gonna get touched and he's gonna break into like fairy dust. I mean, he's not a senior now.
You're right, but still, like you can't fully exploit Michael Vick the way you want it to because the chance of him getting hurt.
No, but I'm saying, but that's what anybody.
You can play him the full game.
But Michael Vick knows that. You can't play Michael Vick scared he's going to get hurt. You just have to play him. I mean, granted, you're not going to have your quarterback running around like your running back. Like, you're not going to just doom him to a life sentence. Like, I mean, like, you're not going to do that. But you know that Michael Vick is going to have to throw from the pocket. He's going to have to. You're going to have to make him move somewhat. But the thing is, the fact that he has a threat to run the ball, that makes linebackers come up. That makes them come out of coverage. You know that, and then the fact that Le'Veon Bell's there also. You know, you also have a lot of linebackers come up. So then your receivers and your tight end. A lot of receivers nowadays, like Gronkowski and them, are making money off the seam route. And Heath Miller, that's been Heath Miller's career. He's always in the right spot. He's always on those curls. He's always sitting there right at the 10-yard mark, just always sitting there ready for it. And so if you have so many people keying in on Antonio Brown, somebody's going to be open. I mean, it's all Michael Vick to make the throw, but Michael Vick has proven that he's more successful at doing so than Brandon Whedon.
You're right. But see, that was, I mean, yes, we can base it off past seasons and how Michael Vick's performed past seasons, but we don't necessarily know how he's been because he hasn't played as much as he used to play. He's been a backup most of the time. Same thing with Brandon Whedon. But see, well, they both been starters, and like you said, Michael Vick had a better career. But see, as he's aging now, as they're both getting older, who I feel like he's more of a liability still than Brandon Whedon would be, because like you said, they may bring him up like because he can scramble, but Ben Roethlisberger can scramble too, and he's a lot bigger person to hit than.
He's a lot bigger. That's how you slide.
But I mean, but still, like they in the minds they still know Ben Roethlisberger can take off if he wants to and get about 5-6 yards.
Ben Roethlisberger did not move.
He
do not move.
He don't move like Michael Vick.
Ben Roethlisberger is at 5 yards and Michael Vick's at 10. Michael Vick be moving but that's why everybody knows in Madden. Even when Michael Vick got worse, you always put Michael Vick in at your quarterback because you know when he starts moving, he's gone. And then everybody's just, I don't want to play. I don't want to come up because he can just throw it the minute he'll work with the line of scrimmage because you're like, I don't know if I should come up or not. And then by the time you realize it, he's like right at the mark, at the 10-yard mark. So you're just like, oh, first down now.
Right.
You know, so it's like, he has gone older, but it's one of those things that, like, why am I gonna take Brandon Weeden over an experienced veteran and someone who's proved himself? Granted, recently he hasn't done a great job, but someone who has more weapons at his disposal, a better defense at his disposal that can hopefully help him if he makes a mistake. Last week when Brandon Weeden made a mistake,
I mean, we scored after the mistake, though. You talking about the interception he threw? We scored after the interception.
but I mean, you gave Matt Ryan a chance to go take the ball down the field, and you know he did what he did.
I mean, if you get the ball anybody on their side of the field, more likely they're going to score.
I mean, yeah. So that turned into points.
It did turn into points.
But Michael Vick's defense is more likely to bail him out. That's what happened against us.
It held together to beat against the Rams.
They did.
I don't know
They did.
because dude dropped the ball, which would have won the
Lance
game.
Kendricks did
So
have a huge-
technically their
huge
defense,
drop. But
the Steelers' defense didn't really hold up because that play right there won y'all the game.
That
he
play
just
did win
butchered
them
it
the
up.
game. He did drop an open pass, but I mean your defense has to do something. Your defense is
The defense didn't do nothing.
They stopped Todd Gurley entirely.
said-
No, I'm not talking about
But see,
that. I'm not
that's
talking
Todd
about
Gurley's
that
first
play.
game. That's Todd Gurley's experience, first time experience,
they stopped Todd
NFL
Gurley.
speed.
They stopped Trey
They never
Mason. They stopped Benny
Trey
Cunningham.
Mason. Okay,
They
when you
stopped
say those
Tavon-
names,
they
those
did-
are good.
Maybe not Tavon Austin as much, but they but they did limit Tavon Austin because normally Tavon Austin throughout every single game of this season, he's had some big play each game. He's had some game that's left impact. He's provided points at least almost every game, or he's been a spark off. But the Steelers did not let him become that this game. So
That's just keying in on receiver, just like when you key in on like a Antonio Brown, or when you key in on like a Julian Edelman. He like a Julian Edelman. Or if you key in on like a Wes Welker or a Danny Mendola or but I mean, they still do the same thing.
They key in and they get into the defense.
It's just like you do what you got. You set up for your game plan. Like Tavon Austin is gonna be his go-to person. It's who he wants to get the ball to because he's a little.
But then we also had Kenny Britt. We also had Kenny Britt, and the Steelers did a good job of
that's
making
just like
Kenny
that's just
Britt
like every.
in the game.
I mean, you don't spotlight every receiver in the game. You don't spotlight
You don't
Kenny Britt, but you
spotlight,
spotlight Tavon Austin.
You got to give the defense credit because there was multiple weapons there that they had to stop, and they did the job of it.
That's every team.
And they
have multiple weapons to stop.
Not every team, bro.
Almost every team.
So when Des Bryant's out, who were we stopping after Jason Witten?
You spotlight Cole Beasley, who made plays with Des Bryant, that made huge plays all this season and last season.
Rashad.
If you asking who you going to spotlight, if you want to spotlight somebody else,
Rashad.
you want to spotlight Colby. You just said who are you going to spotlight?
Rashad.
I'm telling you.
Rashad.
I'm telling you. Go on, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You just said if you have the spotlight, who you going to spotlight? You going to spotlight Jason Witten? You going to spotlight the slot receiver that be going in? He treats like a Julian Edelman.
He's really
you can't believe the Cowboys, man. Except you have to be passionate about it, man. You can't expect me not. You can't expect me not to be passionate about it.
I'm not spotlighting no Cole Beasley. I'm gonna tell my man if you can't cover him single coverage, you're getting out the game. You're getting out the game.
You did the same thing with Julian Edelman.
No, wait. Julian, do not mention Cole Beasley in the same.
They're the same player.
No, they're not.
They're the same player.
No, they're not.
They're the same exact
Julian
player.
Edelman and Cole Beasley. Julian Edelman is
same
leaping
player.
on Cole Beasley. No,
They're the same
Julian
player.
Edelman is way smarter than Cole Beasley.
The
He's quicker.
same.
He's faster. He has better. Come on.
I don't know. No, I don't know about quicker, yo.
Yes, he is.
Cole Beasley
Julian
can make moves.
Bro, he can make moves.
Cole
He's
Beasley
not
can make
Julian
moves.
Edelman.
Julian Edelman gets to catch him and run.
Granted, Julian Edelman has Tom Brady and Cole Beasley has. But anyway, I'm just saying.
What do you think, Khalid? Yo, because what do you think about Michael Vick or Brandon Weeden?
No. Let's not just get over this. Let's not get over this.
Oh, you talking about this?
Julian Edelman or Cole Beasley?
Oh, we talking about that? I mean, of course you're gonna take Julian Edelman, but at the same time, Cole Beasley can do the same thing that Julian Edelman do.
He does not do it as well. That's like saying
With Tom
Cole.
Brady,
That's like saying Cole. So is Cole Beasley just as good as Wes Welker? Can he do just as?
Which Wes Welker?
Huh?
Which Wes Welker? The old
The Wes Welker. The Wes Welker. I'm not taking the scrub Wes Welker. I'm talking about Wes Welker. The Wes Welker that made his payday. That's Julian Edelman. That's what
you say. Is he as good? No, he's not.
Exactly.
He's the same player as him, though.
Not the
He's the same player.
How are you not as good?
They
But
play
not the same player.
Because when I say as good, who was more talented than what they was doing was Wes Welker. But as what they do the same thing. Wes Welker did it better, yeah.
Rashad, exactly.
But
that's my point.
They do the same thing.
That's because you do the same. Calvin Johnson does the same thing
as
as,
Bryant, as Antonio Brown.
but somebody does it
as
better.
Johnson.
That's the
They do
point.
the sa-
That's the point. You can do
No.
the same thing as somebody. Ryan Fitzpatrick
not
does the
Calvin
same thing as
Johnson.
Tom Brady. He plays
No,
the same
no.
position. Yeah,
I mean,
that's exactly your point.
No.
That's your
Playing the same
point.
position is different than what they do the same thing.
What do you mean?
Playing the same position, doing
Isn't
the
that your
route
whole
running.
Bruh,
Okay, we can go to like when Demarius Thomas goes to the slot.
Julian
for
Edelman
the
right now is
Broncos.
set to make a receiving record right now because of all the receptions he gets. Cole
No, that's
Beasley does
Julio
not
Jones.
even
What,
mirror.
Julio Jones is that?
Huh?
Julio Jones.
No, Julian Edelman for the Patriots. He's on a
franchise record.
Yes.
That's different. See, because you catch. See, I'm talking about NFL record. But see, when you give him the ball, you give him the ball on screen routes. You give him the ball on digs. You give him the ball on slants. You give him the ball on drags.
And
you
you
give him
just
the ball
said you
on.
just said Cole
do the
Beasley does
same
the
thing.
same thing.
He does do the same thing.
But there's a
but like
there's a difference.
you
Cole
can't say
Beasley
because
does
he's
not
a slot
get as
receiver
easy.
that's what he does.
Cole Beasley does not get as open as Julian Edelman does at all times, and Julian Edelman has more big plays than Cole Beasley.
But see, Tom Brady looks for Julian Edelman more than Tony Romo looks for Cole Beasley.
How?
How? Because his first option is Dez Bryant. His second option is Jason Witten.
Tom Brady.
Go down the list.
What?
You go down the list on who your receivers you're looking for. Tom Brady looks for Gronk. Then he looks for Julian Edelman. Then it's Danny Amendola.
I say it's Gronk and whoever the other tight end is also. Because they run more plays for their tight ends than they do their
But
slot
at the same
receivers.
time, Julian Edelman's in the game.
Julian Edelman is in the game, but I'm saying he runs the plays for Gronk, and they run the other plays for the other tight end now. I can't remember the other tight end's name, but he's pretty good. But yeah, they run most of their plays looking for the tight ends they run the seam routes for the tight ends, or they run the post routes for the tight ends, and then you got Julian Edelman that's coming through, or Danny Amendola is coming through the middle. So but Julian Edelman, there's a reason why Julian Edelman is better than Danny Amendola, better than Cole Beasley.
He just gets more of the plays. Like a lot of the screenplays they run is for him because he makes better moves than Danny Amendola. But at the same time, a lot of the plays are designed for Julian Edelman.
Isn't it funny we were talking about Wes Walker and he's working out for the Giants?
Is he really?
Yeah, that's hilarious. Isn't that funny how that works?
I'm just saying.
Speaking of the Patriots, isn't it funny how that was like a perfect segue in? But yeah, speaking of the Patriots, both them and the Cardinals started out the season 3-0. Both teams have had amazing starts. Even though people will underrate the Cardinals' 3-0 start versus the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots have played.
I don't understand why.
I don't get it either. I mean, the Patriots have played the Jaguars. I mean, they have played the Steelers, and they played the Bills. Excuse me. And the Cardinals have played. Oh wow, the Cardinals have played the 49ers, the Saints, and I think the Bears. I'm not totally sure, but I think the Bears. So, which of the two teams do y'all believe, with Carson Palmer leading the Cardinals and Tom Brady leading the Patriots, which team do you think is more likely to finish with the better season when it's all said and done? I'll read y'all both the upcoming schedule. So this upcoming Sunday, the Cardinals are slated to play the Rams. After that, they're playing the Lions. Then they're playing the Steelers. They play the Ravens. Then they play the Browns, Seahawks, Bengals, 49ers, Rams again, the Vikings, Eagles, and then the Packers and Seahawks. While the Patriots are going to play the Cowboys 2 weeks from now because they're on a bye week this upcoming week. Then they play the Colts. They play the Jets. They play the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Giants, the Bills, the Broncos, the Eagles, the Texans, the Titans, and then the Jets and the Dolphins. So from that list, which team do y'all think is more likely to have the more successful season? Khalid, I'll start off with you.
Bro, just looking at their schedules, both their schedules, they're like the superior team throughout most of their opponents. Like throughout those games, like the majority of those games, they pretty much got to win. And it's kind of shaky because like they're both looking like Super Bowl teams.
Mm-hmm.
And Patriots, they have the they're always a great team, a very good team, and they always make it into the AFC championships. And that's just their history of being just a great team altogether. And then the Cardinals is starting to look like a Super Bowl contender, and they just look the offense is looking like those, like Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald.
Dude, he rounded the clock back. Larry Fitzgerald is looking like the Larry Fitzgerald from the Super Bowl against the Steelers.
They are looking amazing.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're underrating them a whole lot, and the Cardinals are putting in mad work. They are they are together. Like they are on point. So and then looking at their schedules, they playing who they playing? Cardinals. The Rams.
This upcoming weekend they play the Rams, then they play the Lions, then they play the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, the Seahawks, the Bengals, the 49ers, the Rams, the Vikings, the Eagles, the Packers, and then the Seahawks again.
See, we're talking about a lot of teams with like not the best defenses, and then very hurt teams, like in the Steelers without hurt QB, and it just seems like the Cardinals will be the superior team throughout most of those games.
So, what are you saying? The Cardinals are your pick as the superior? They're gonna finish better in the end of the season.
See, it's kind of shaky because the Patriots schedule is looking easy as well, like a lot easier. So
Really?
I want to give it to the Cardinals though, because they are playing like a Super Bowl champion.
So you think what's the record you see the Cardinals finishing out with?
Let me see the schedule.
I didn't say he wasn't good. I just say he wasn't Julian Edelman. No, I just said he wasn't Julian Edelman, bro. They do not do this. They might play the same position, and they're both.
I would say
Pull the number right now. Pull the number. Pull the number.
I would say about 13-3.
You say 13-3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who are the 3 losses coming to?
The Bengals, the Packers, and the Vikings.
So you think that they beat the Seahawks, the Rams?
Oh no, not the Vikings. I meant to say Seahawks. That's what I wanted.
So you're saying the Seahawks gonna beat them?
Yeah.
So you think they're gonna beat the Seahawks both, or one? They're gonna split it with the Seahawks. They're gonna beat the Rams both times, and they're gonna beat the 49ers again.
Did I say the Rams?
You didn't say the Rams. I'm asking. You said they're gonna beat the Rams both times. I say, are you saying they're gonna beat the Rams both times?
I can see that.
Okay. So for anybody that wants to call in and chime in on this Julian Edelman, Cole Beasley debate, since Rashad just can't accept the fact. I mean, it's outrageous. I'm not disrespecting him at all. But the number to our radio phone line is 757-683-4405. For anybody that wants to call in and chime in on give your opinion on this, because I mean, I don't have nothing else to say about it. But Rashad, you tell me.
Make sure you call in. It's 757-683-4405. Say it with my chest. I'm ready to hear everybody tell you that Cole Beasley and Julian Edelman are the same player. But anyway, so let's go. All right.
Who do you have having the better season? Do you need me to read you the schedule?
I don't need no schedule. Because it's clearly obvious that the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFL football league right now. I mean, National Football League. I said NFL. But see, they're the best team in the NFL. They started off the season undefeated until actually no, they didn't. They lost one game last year before Carson Palmer got hurt. They have the most high-powered offense. They have one of the top defenses. You just can't really do anything about that. You can't stop a team that's scoring 40, 45, 50 points a game and holding you down to 12. You can't do nothing about that. As long as the problem with the Cardinals is they're a lost hope without Carson Palmer. They're a lost hope. Without Carson Palmer, they're nothing. They even lost their starting running back. And they're still putting on. He has been producing. He has been producing. But when you lose your start, like that hurts the morale of a team. Not this team. They're still putting on 40 points a game.
So you think the Cardinals are gonna finish better than the Patriots also?
I definitely think they will finish better than the Patriots.
Are you sure you don't want me to read you the schedule again?
It doesn't matter who the schedule is. It's who the team is. The Arizona Cardinals are playing the most prolific football any team can play this season.
I mean,
They're better than every. They're right now. If Carson Palmer stays healthy, they're going to make it to the NFC Championship.
I do doing.
I won't disagree with that.
They're going to make it to
I
NFC.
won't disagree with
If
that.
Carson Palmer stays healthy.
I won't disagree with you on that one. I'll actually, I'll agree with you on that. They can make it to the NFC Championship. I think it also depends on the health of Aaron Rodgers and his receivers, and also the Seattle Seahawks health. But they can. They are a team that's talented enough to get to the NFC Championship or NFC Championship
This is a
game.
repeat of Kurt Warner's last run. This
Bro,
is a repeat of it.
But okay, so
But
what do you?
see, Kurt Warner had more weapons though. He had Anquan Bolden and he had Larry Fitzgerald. But this is the same. This is a repeat.
He had like Steve Preston. He had Steve Preston, something like that.
For his receivers.
Yeah, because
he had Anquan Bolden.
Anquan Bolden was in Baltimore at the time.
For the Super Bowl run? Are you sure?
I think so.
Nah, I think he was with them.
I think
Anquan Bolden was the leading receiver that year for Kurt Warner.
Nah, because Anquan Bolden was at the 49ers.
The Super Bowl?
Anquan Bolden was at the 49ers.
You're talking about the Super Bowl run then? No, Anquan Bolden was on the Super Bowl run team.
I think he was. Maybe
he was on the ring. Because I had Larry Fitzgerald that season in fantasy, but Anquan Bolden was taking all the shine.
Yeah.
I remember that season too well. But they're the best team in football right now.
But okay, so but they're scared. But what do you see them finishing the record as far as record wise?
I'd say same thing, Kelly, 13-3 or 12-4. See, the problem they're in a really tough division. They're in a very tough division. But see, those games you can't really see. I don't know if they can lose one to. I don't know if they'll lose one to the Seahawks. More so than I see them losing one to the Rams.
But see, here's the thing about their schedule. They don't really have any gimme games on this schedule. Like that's the thing. They don't have any. Just you're like, okay, they're gonna win that easily. Every single game on their schedule is a tough game from here on out. No, but I mean, you go like, okay, they can win that game. Like we're picking like this past week when we saw the Patriots and the Jaguars, everybody put Tom Brady on their fantasy team. They're like, oh, he's starting. He is starting. There's no doubt. But like next week they're playing the Cardinals are playing the Rams. And that's a divisional game. And and they have a great defensive line. So that's
at Arizona.
I'm not sure where they're playing at, but
it's still the fact that I mean you can't just automatically shut a team that's like in gear running full speed ahead 40 points.
No, you can't just shut.
Like 12.
But sometimes it takes that defense that you run into that puts pressure on you. They haven't run into a defense that gets into the backfield and puts pressure on. I think it was the Saints. That was the other team. It wasn't the Bears. It was the Saints that they beat. But they haven't run into a defense yet that keeps Carson Palmer, having to get the ball and has actually neutralizes Chris Johnson out of the game. They average like 4.2 yards a carry this season so far, and that's more than they've done in past years. That's darn sure.
It is, but at the same time, you still have a great quarterback back there throwing the ball.
And the Patriots have at least like 2 or 3 games here that you're like, okay, I'm definitely. I mean, the Redskins.
I mean, you can say that, but you like.
I mean, any team can win on any given.
The Redskins is the most suspect team. Like you don't
the
know what you're gonna get.
The Redskins are suspect, but bro, I'm not picking them over the Patriots.
You never know what you're gonna
I'm not
get.
picking them over the Patriots, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not.
You never know.
You never know,
there might
but
be that one better in Las Vegas right now and be like, I'm waiting for that week because the Redskins are gonna take it.
No, oh my
they
God.
did beat the Rams.
That one better. That one.
It's gonna win millions of dollars. You never know.
Wait, stop. What did you just say, Khalid? In what way do the Rams compare to the New England Patriots?
No. I'm just saying
Khalid,
I'm just
in what? Khalid, in
But
what
I'm
way?
saying-
Answer the question.
I'm not even.
Answer the
I'm not
question.
referencing-
Answer the question.
I'm not referencing the Rams
Khalid,
to the Patriots.
You
I'm
just
referencing
said
the
they beat the Rams.
to the Cardinals.
You just said they beat the Rams.
They,
How do the Rams compare to the New England Patriots?
they don't. They got
Exactly. That statement meant nothing in my eyes. The Rams haven't even made the playoffs in the past over 10 years. They haven't made the
But
playoffs.
that's what I'm
So what is
saying, though.
then what is that? That
I'm-
statement has no value. The Redskins just got ran off their own field by the New York Giants, or got ran off the field by the Giants because Kirk Cousins couldn't show no ability to provide offense when
But I wanted to say
the team that they're playing actually comes to play.
I wanted to say that the Cardinals is a whole lot better team than the Redskins.
But I'm saying the Patriots have a more gimme schedule than the Cardinals. So how is it the Cardinals are going to finish with a better record? You're just proving my point. All I'm saying is the Patriots have a more gimme schedule, and then the Patriots are playing the Titans, then they play the Texans. Like those are like 3 gimme games right off. Then they play and the Dolphins. I don't even know what the Dolphins are. Everybody thought they're going to get in Dominican Sue and turn into this great team, but they haven't done it. So that's 6 games at least. because they played the Dolphins twice. That's 6 gimme games at least that the Patriots have.
You
While
can't
the-
consider a division game. Give me.
I can't. You're right. I can't consider a division game gimme game, but I would say that they're more likely to lose to the Bills or the Jets than they are to the Dolphins, because the Dolphins hasn't shown up against anybody. That's the difference. The Dolphins now, if you're talking about the Bills and the Jets, yeah, you're right. I'll be like, okay, maybe they might lose, but they gave the work. Tom Brady carved up the Bills earlier this season already, and then the Jets. I mean, the Jets is still remain to be seen, but. And the Jets they just lost to the Eagles some dumbfoundedly. They did dumb stuff against that game. But I'm like there's way more gimme games in the schedule for the Cardinals have to play the Seahawks twice, while the Patriots aren't, and the Seahawks have been to the Super Bowl twice in the past 2 years. Who are the Patriots playing that have been to the AFC Championship or even to the Super Bowl twice in the past few years? I forgot. They went last year, and the year before that. Who was the
Broncos?
The Broncos, and they played the Broncos once. They played the Broncos once, and I mean you can't play yourself obviously, but it's just the amount of playoff teams the Patriots have on this list is the only team on this list that made the playoffs that the Patriots play are the Colts, the Cowboys, the Broncos, and that's it. And that's it.
They haven't played the Cowboys. The Cowboys are hurt.
And the Cowboys are hurt, and they're playing them after the bye week. So it's like I feel like the Patriots are more likely to finish like 13-3. And I would say the Cardinals. I have the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will finish at least 11-5 or 12-4. I see the Patriots finishing 13-3, and that's only because I feel like they're gonna lose one of the games to the Bills. They're gonna lose a game to the Jets, and they're gonna get like crept up on by somebody that is not gonna be the Redskins. But in that game against the Broncos could be a game because now the Broncos are relying a lot more on a run game also. So
C.J. Anderson can't stay healthy though.
C.J. Anderson,
Can't stay healthy.
but they still been able to balance their offense very effectively though. So I mean they're starting to dominate time of possession against other teams. And I mean when it's not working, they're like, hey Peyton, go do your thing, and he does his thing. You know, Emmanuel Sanders. Oh man, damn that dude on Sunday Night Football got mossed crucially. It was disrespectful. But for the last topic, we're gonna cover we'll go over the Cam Newton Ed Hockley issue, because apparently on a play on Sunday when Cam Newton was out, Hockley on a play where Cam Newton was scrambling out of the pocket and made a pass, he got hit. And apparently he said he was expecting a late, roughing the passer call or something like that. But apparently he claims Ed Hockley said you're not old enough to get that call, son. But then Ed Hockley claims he says, oh, you were, it wasn't, the penalty wasn't warranted because you were running. And it's caused this big thing, because if Ed Hockley is found to have really said that you're not old enough to get this call, son, then he could get discipline for it, because the referees are taught, even though everybody thinks there's this big stigma that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and them get more calls than the younger quarterback, or the elite quarterbacks get more calls, you're supposed to just ref the game for whoever it is. So, but the footage shows, if you look on the footage, you can read Ed Hockley's lips saying, you were running. That's why you didn't get the call. But he also said something that you can't see, the camera doesn't pick up, and you can't fully read his lips for it. And it causes Cam Newton to be like, well, excuse me. So what do y'all think about the situation, Rashad? I'll start off with you.
See, that's kind of like a ref. Like saying when Jordan used to play, and Jordan used to get the Jordan calls, and refs would be like, he's Jordan and stuff like that. It's kind of like the same thing. I mean, yeah, you can't sit there and deliberately say you're not gonna get that call because you're bigger, you're younger, you're faster. You ran before, like you're a scrambling quarterback. But see, that's kind of how the thing goes. Like after when they take off running, when they cuff the ball away, they become a runner. Yeah. They become a runner. They can get hit as hard as any running back gets hit, any receiver gets hit, because they're a runner. It doesn't matter. So I mean, I feel like even the same play, I don't even think he could see. Technically, he gets the chance to take that hit. The other quarterback slide. Like a Tom Brady, if he scrambles, he's gonna slide. Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna slide. Aaron Rodgers may take the hit,
but he threw the ball.
He threw the ball and still took the hit. Out of bounds.
Yeah, he threw
But I'm saying wasn't he like towards the line of scrimmage, close?
He was like along the sideline.
Yeah.
Close to the sideline. He threw the ball and he was going out of bounds. And he
Uh huh.
hit.
But I mean, at the same thing, it was more. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like I don't know, because I don't feel like a Tom Brady would have got the call. I still don't feel like a Tom Brady or something like that would have got a call
But
either.
you see how
But-
you're stuck. You don't even know
Yeah,
for sure.
You don't know for
See,
see,
so we
but I
definitely
mean,
you can't say if Tom Brady would get the call or
you're
not.
right. It's kind of about how like
So does he get
It's
not
how
get
a
the call
ref
'cause
see it.
He's known as
No,
a
no.
scrambling quarterback.
no, it's more so how the ref sees the play.
Because think about it, Tom Brady never scrambled.
He never
But if
scrambled.
Tom Brady's running towards the sideline, he throws the ball, and he's going out of bounds. He gets just pushed off. Do you think he's not going to get the call?
Tom Brady's gonna get the call because he got like the Jordan treatment, the Jordan fouls.
Isn't that Cam Newton's point?
It is but see, it's.
Colin?
I don't-
what's your
I think this is
perspective?
really wishy-washy because we don't know if he really said that, and if he did say that, then it really justifies what Cam Newton is feeling. The fact that he's younger and hasn't had as much experience as most quarterbacks and hasn't been there as long time as some of these big veteran quarterbacks, and which is crazy because Luke McCown he's been in the league for a while, but Luke McCown over Cam Newton. But either way, I still feel like that you have to look at that play like you have to be objective as you can as a referee to be able to make the fairest play to both teams. And when he's throwing the ball out of bounds, he threw the ball. So even though he was outside the pocket and he got a late hit, he should have still got that call because it was a late hit.
Yeah, but like,
And then Luke McCown got the same call earlier. Luke McCown got the same call earlier in the game when he got a late hit inside the pocket. So I do think it's kind of like he was kind of showing favoritism, or just because he's been longer in the league.
Well, I mean, so it's like, but if he is found to have said, because I mean, there's no doubt that a scrambling quarterback, because I've seen there are times when RG3 was looking for the call. I seen it.
he don't get it.
Yeah,
See, it's
but-
more so of the scrambling quarterback. It's who you are basically,
But
and it
not
also
supposed to be
depends
ref
on.
that way.
But I mean, it depends. I mean, yeah, you're not supposed to ref that way, but certain refs do.
But then he should be disciplined for it.
But I mean, you can't necessarily prove that
Right?
he did that.
No,
I mean,
but I'm saying-
until you prove that he actually said that, you can't discipline
No,
him
no, I'm
just
not
because
saying
he was
you have
like
to
he's a
prove it.
scrambling quarterback.
You have to prove
Because
it.
okay, so for the person that pushed him, hit him out of bounds, and going out of bounds, what if he would have pump faked and took off running? You can't just run
But
by
he
him.
was running out of bounds.
I know, but I'm saying.
But
I mean,
we
you
can't
have
change
kind
the
of
scenario
like
now.
you have like momentum. I mean, in the moment, it's kind of like a charge or a blocking foul. In the moment, it's how you see it. It's how you perceive it as.
Mhm.
Because I mean, let's say he wasn't running out of bounds. Like you say, let's say you can't really change it. But if he pump faked it and kept running, like as a lineman, you can't really expect to like hit him. So you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because your job is to hit the quarterback. You can't let them get extra yards. So you're gonna hit them even if they're running out of bounds because your momentum's carrying it that way.
Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to keep talking about it because that's an interesting topic. But that's it for the show today, guys. We appreciate everybody that tuned in. Check us out every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. On the WOD Live YouTube channel. You can also watch our past shows and past segments on our KBR Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at KBR_sports. If you want to call in during any of the shows, the number is 757-683-4405. You can watch this past show, and then you can call and give your perspective on how you felt about Rashad comparing Cole Beasley to Julian Edelman and saying they're practically the same player. And, you know, disrespecting Julian Edelman, a Super Bowl champion, you know. No, I just had to pause this to give a moment of silence to your intellect. But I'm not disrespecting you. Your opinion's getting disrespected though. But tune in on Thursday, y'all, and we have another great debate for y'all. All right, y'all have a great day.